Welcome, everybody. We are doing a Get the Word Out this morning on Friday, and we are talking all about why would someone run for judge? And what is that? What do you do if you're a judge? What do you do when you're a lawyer? Let's get into it, because I have lawyers as friends. I have judges as friends, but we don't really talk about their job. And Christie Knavely is a new friend I met, and she is running for judge in Floyd County, which is the county I grew up in. It's right next to me in Harrison County. So I'm really delighted to have Christina. I'm going to find out all about her, about her lawyer stuff. What's it like doing that? Why do you want to run for judge? What are your plans? I don't know if you all are aware, but our criminal justice system is a mess. And I'm just love it when I meet people that want to kind of fix it and clean it up one little community at a time. So I'm super interested to get into this with you, Christina. How are you? And thank you for joining us today.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here today and do a podcast about all this. And it's been nice to get to know you and meet you. And I'm really excited to talk about all this.
Yeah, I'm pumped to know more about you and become your friend, because you kind of seem like a badass, a local woman working hard, trying to help the community. And I really like that. That's great. We need great lawyers in our community. We need great judges. It's such an important thing. There's sort of this bad stigma about lawyers and judges, and some lawyers are bad and some judges are bad and some lawyers are amazing. So I kind of want to break it down a little bit and get into you the person, Christina. So how long have you been a lawyer?
So I've been practicing since the end of 2016. I went to Valparaiso University, which is far up north, about an hour south of Chicago. And I got my first real lawyer job in 2016, December, in Marion County. So I started working at the public defender's office.
And loving the kitten. What's your kitten's name?
So this is Simon. Simon has a great story, because I was walking with one of the precinct members, knocking on doors, saying hi, and we came across a pile of kittens.
Aww.
And she knew her neighbor, obviously, and her neighbor was like, well, the kittens aren't ready to go from their mom yet, but give us a couple weeks and he will be. So a couple weeks later, I go back and I pick up Simon.
Aww. How old is Simon?
He is probably a couple months at this point. This was back in
pretty little. Aww, yeah, that's so sweet. So those of you that are listening to it as a podcast, if you want to see it as a video, you can see cute little all black kitten that Christina's holding, and I love it. This is the second time I've had a black kitten on the show while I'm talking about stuff. This is so cute. Okay, so you've been a lawyer since 2016. Have you been, and you started in Marion County? That's Indianapolis area?
Right, that's Indianapolis. So I'm actually from this area. I grew up in Jeffersonville for the most part, hung out in New Albany a lot. But like I said, I went up to Valparaiso for law school, and then I just got a job in Marion County to start out. So I went there, and I did that for 4.5 years. And then I relocated, came back down here. And when I came back down here, I started working at the Clark County Public Defender's Office.
Oh, do you know Lisa Rieger? I'm friends with Lisa.
Yes. I recently had to do a trial in her court not too long ago.
She was a lawyer and now she's a judge, and I love her. She's a good human. Yeah. So that's cool. So you were at Clark. So now where are you practicing now, or are you practicing now?
Yes. So I am still at the Clark County Public Defender's Office.
Okay. So you're a public defender. What is that? Can you explain it? I think I know.
Sure. So a public defender is still a licensed attorney. A lot of people, they like to call them public pretenders. And unfortunately we have there's kind of a bad connotation about that. Like you said, the legal system is messy, and it's messy because people don't believe in it anymore. So one of the things that I try to bring to my job is integrity, ethics, morality, but also competence, and help restore some of that belief. I had one of my clients in Indianapolis. When we first met, she said, public pretender, you guys.
Oh my goodness. I never heard that before.
Well, by the end of my time with her, by the end of my representation, she was calling me public defender instead.
Good. So public defenders, you're the attorney that comes in when somebody has been charged of a crime and they cannot afford their own attorney, because boy,
Correct.
attorneys are super, super expensive. Like, wow. So I would imagine that's a lot of people, and especially the way we handle crime in this country. It's on like a caste system. Like, we have social status of people in prison. People that are lower income make up the majority of people in prison. So a lot of people are going to need public defenders, I would think.
Yes, we definitely. So the Constitution states that everyone has the right to be represented and zealously represented, even if they cannot afford. And you're absolutely right. Attorneys can be pricey. I know that if I myself found myself in need of an attorney, it would probably constrict my budget a little bit. And that's what we do. We help the indigent population as best we can. And what's interesting about our jobs that is a little bit different than maybe private counsel is we don't get to pick our clients.
Okay. You
But
don't get a choice. You don't get a sheet and you get to read what everybody's done and you pick the one you like the most.
right.
You're just saying, here's your client. So that sounds hard.
It definitely teaches you to learn how to work with different personalities very quickly.
Right. And you're probably meeting people that are on a variety of reasons for why they've ended up there, ended up charged with a crime. Maybe they're addicts. Maybe they're people that don't have a safety net and they're just trying to survive. Maybe they have some sort of mental health issue. There's probably a variety. So you probably at first just kind of have to identify who is this person, what are their needs, what are their strengths and weaknesses, and then kind of assess from there.
Right. I mean, when people enter the criminal justice system in this way, it is never a good day for them. Like, that's
Right.
not, we don't wake
It's
up in
going
the
to be
morning
one
and
of their
say,
worst days of their life.
right. And there's a lot of collateral things that they have to deal with, like my housing. Like, if they spent any time in jail, sometimes they lose their housing. If they need mental health treatment and have never addressed it before, sometimes we can help them do that. And we have a lot of social work adjacent.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Job.
So you'll identify this person has this need right now, and you can connect them with the social worker to start getting some sort of assistance.
In Marion County, we did. We don't have dedicated social workers in Clark County, unfortunately. But
Oh,
so our
that sounds
staff,
like that sounds like something we should
we would
have.
need, right? Yeah. So, but my staff is wonderful. Like, they work as best they can. They really meet our clients where they're at.
So you're saying your staff is trying to make this up, that you don't have a social worker. So
right.
You're trying to give them services to help them.
Right. So it's a combination of the attorney themselves, our staff, our support staff, and then in Clark County, we have pretrial services, and they also have good access to those resources and can help people connect them with them. I rely a lot on Thrive, honestly.
Oh, I like Thrive, the group Thrive that helps
yes.
with helps people with recovery, right?
Right. They do a tremendous job. And like you said, a lot of people who are in jail do have some substance abuse issues. And they're very good about interviewing them, seeing if they want help. And if they do want help, getting them into a place that can be best suited.
A lot of the people that I've met that work with Thrive needed Thrive at one moment in their life. They needed it. They got help. They're in recovery, and now they're helping others, which is a really beautiful way to do that. So that's, yeah. Okay. So I'm finding out about you just from you telling me your job. So you have empathy for the people that are coming in on some of their worst days of their life. You're trying to help them immediately, find out what are their concerns, what needs do they need to have met so that they can do this. And like, going to a judge, if they get that far, if you had things set up, like they're in recovery now, they've been clean this many days, they didn't, it's going to help with their sentence, right?
Right. It'll help the judge feel secure about maybe potentially releasing them on a furlough or releasing them entirely to go get treatment and get help. I mean, at the end of the day, I wear two hats, right? I wear the hat where I am zealously advocating and holding the state to their burden and making sure our Constitution is upheld, where everyone is presumed innocent before proven guilty. But on the other side, I really want to help these people get out of the criminal justice system and lead lives in their community with their families, where I don't see them in that sense anymore.
Yeah, that's That's really wonderful. Those are the type of people I would want to be a judge. Those are the type of people I would want to be a public defender, a lawyer. So I'm glad you're doing this job. It seems like you're going to need to be pretty mentally fit yourself to be
Mhm.
able to handle it. Because if you were super stressed out and you were coming to work and you met somebody that's on their worst day and they're maybe suffering from some sort of addiction, or maybe they've been abused in some way. A lot of people have been abused and didn't know how to handle it when they were children. You know, you're getting all these needs. You wouldn't be able to handle and help them if you weren't yourself pretty strong and like level headed and not like super emotional.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and you're absolutely right. We have to take care of our mental health, and there are some times where Indianapolis has this good little resource where they will send out people to do mental health seminars, and like our office has done one in the past, and they just come down and they say, hey, we have secondhand trauma from all the trauma that we hear from our clients and all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, that is
How do
so
you deal
real.
with it?
I've had that before, just trying to help people stay housed. I've
Mhm.
gotten their or like I tried to help a woman get away from her abusive ex and it got to me. So I understand the secondhand trauma thing.
But and my office is really fabulous because they understand that we all experience that. And so if we need a mental health day, they're perfectly fine to say, you know what, take a mental health day, take a break, go do something to reconnect with yourself, reconnect with your roots so that you can come back and be the best person you can be. And the
Yeah,
issue is
that
always
is such a necessity. And I see it at top levels of working. Like if you're working a job where you get paid more and you have a skill that they need, they're more lenient on letting you take time off because they need you mentally fit. And I see it less in circumstances where they just want you to work all the time and not pay you a ton. So I wish everybody in our country would be able to take mental health days. I'm sure some people would abuse it, but for the majority, I think it would make them do a better job at their work because they're more mentally able to handle it. I
right.
was at Dollar General last week and the woman working was super sick. And I came twice in an hour because I had to go back and get something. It's in Palmyra. And she had to work Thanksgiving. She had a sinus infection or something. She was super sick. And I was like, are you here? She's like, oh, I'm here all day. I'm here till 10. And so I was
Mhm.
like trying to think how to help her. I was telling her about a sinus rinse that she could get at Dollar General and how to use it. And then I was like, can somebody work for you tomorrow? And she's like, I think we have it covered where I can get someone covered for my shift tomorrow. And I'm just like, her life is so much harder because she doesn't have that option of, I'm sick. I need to
Right.
not work today. I was like, oh, so I'm glad that you and their office that you're working with, that's different. So that's a whole nother problem, but it just
It
kind of
is.
shows, it kind of aligns what you're doing, because with the criminal justice system, it's a lot of people that struggle.
Mhm. It is. And the other issue with that particular scenario is that woman has to decide whether or not she has the ability to take that day off without pay.
Right. And she probably needs yes, yes.
Right.
So yeah, it is a problem, and it is probably increasing people in jails, because if it's too hard to work, if they're having something mentally happen to them and they can't work and they get fired, or they're sick or whatever and they get fired,
Right.
the chances of them committing a crime just to feed their families, to feed themselves, pay their bills, rises. So that is a problem. And I say this a lot, but if we all recognized, in order to make our own neighborhoods safer, we need to help those in the neighborhood that are suffering the most. That makes our family, our neighborhood safer. So that should be a priority for the whole community, instead of this attitude a lot of us have where it's like, well, I didn't have any help, so I'm not going to help you. It's like, no, no, this makes it safer for your family if your neighborhood's safer.
Right. I mean, and I totally agree with that. And I think it's not just a mentality of there is the old mentality of pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like I didn't have help, so do that. But the reality is that everybody needs help sometimes. Even those people that say that, oh, I didn't have any help, I didn't have anything. Well, look at your situation. Were you raised in a household with two parents? Were you raised in a household where you didn't have to worry about where you're getting your food?
Yeah, and it's not always your fault.
It's
And then I don't care if it is your fault. I don't care if you made a mistake and you became addicted to something and then you got yourself clean. Like, great job. It's like,
right.
let's just push people forward instead of, holding them back because of past mistakes. I'm not saying people shouldn't be held accountable for their
Right.
crimes. That's different.
And,
But
and I think to piggyback off of that, accountability goes so far in people becoming and transforming into those members of their community again. If they don't take accountability, then what was the point? There's no
so as a
lesson learned.
judge, is that something, like if you were to be a judge, is that something you would be looking at, the person coming in saying, I messed up, I did this, I was drinking then, I'm in recovery now, or I did this to feed my family and I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it, I should have done da 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 instead. So you're looking for accountability in the person and like a plan so they don't
Right.
do it again.
Right. I think that's going to help our community out very much. Obviously, other members of the community having some understanding about what the situation is, and you're right, it does make our community safer if we help the people who are, causing these incidents to be on better footing. It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? You can't
Yes.
think about these higher functioning needs of how can I help my community? How can I be a better person? How can I do things in more philosophical terms or anything if I don't know how to feed myself? If I don't know how where I'm gonna sleep.
If they can't stay housed, get food, just proper basic health care, if they can't have those needs met, they cannot help other people in the community. And we all need to be doing our part so that we can like grow and fix our problems and be a safe place to live. We all have to invest in this place where we live, invest in this system.
But it also depends on the client. The client has to invest in themselves as well. The person before me is going to have to invest in, yes, I did this. I made a mistake. I want to make it right. How can I make it right? And sometimes that means you have to be on probation for a little bit. Unfortunately, sometimes people may have to do some time to kind of separate themselves physically from whatever it is that they're doing. But everyone, right? Everyone has to be on board, and no one is going to work hard for you if you don't work hard for yourself.
Yes, and I bet that that's hard when you see them not fighting for themselves, not wanting to change. And people have mental health issues, and sometimes people have mental health issues because of their circumstances. Like you take a perfectly mentally fit person and you put them on the street with no money, and it doesn't take very long for them to have mental health problems because we're human beings and that's what happens.
Your security is taken away, and when your security is taken away, your mind goes into different places.
I've listened to people that help the unhoused and they say get them right when they're unhoused, because the longer they're out there, the harder they are to save. And I'm like, this is heartbreaking, but it makes sense. Yeah.
I met with someone at one point in time who had been unhoused for quite some time, and I was like, hey, let's meet with the Social Security office. Let's try to get you some resources so we can get you into housing. And they looked at me and said, but then I would be living in a cage, basically.
Yeah. I mean, and I get it too, because you lose your freedom, even though it's pretty rough freedom. I get why some of them say that. Plus you don't know whether they're going to take advantage of you, and some people do take advantage of those that are struggling.
Well,
So
I think that's why they suggest you get them right when they become unhoused, because the longer you're in a situation, the more acceptable that situation becomes.
yes, 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 I get what you're saying. It's just a sad thing about human condition. So, you're getting people that are struggling for a multitude of reasons. You're hoping to be able to help them. It's probably hard when they don't want to help themselves. But then when you do meet those that want to, what type of things can you give us an example? I know you can't like name names, but can you give us an example of like a story that you went through, a real story as you as a public defender, a person made a mistake and they wanted to change and you saw positive change? Can you tell us that?
Let's see here. So I'm thinking of one person in particular because it's the one that just popped into my head. I met with this person originally, and I could tell that this person had some mental health struggles. And so we were able to, I was able to get the state to agree to basically let this person participate in mental health programming, do regular check-ins to make sure that they were meeting their appointments, taking their meds as required, things of that nature. And slowly we began to able to grow this person. And the person was staying on their treatment schedule, taking their meds as required, and then got a job.
Oh.
And then decided that they would prefer to have a different job that maybe was more well suited for their personality. And you know what? That person stayed in the first job until they found the second job.
Oh, that's good. They didn't just, yeah, that's smart.
And then that person was able to reconnect with their family. And to this date, I haven't seen that person in the criminal justice system.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I know we need stories like that, and you probably need to remind yourself of stories like that when you're hit with a case where that's not going to happen. Because
Right.
there are violent criminals. There are violent criminals that cannot be out in society. Maybe they're sociopaths. They don't have empathy. Something. They're so traumatized. Something has happened to them, and they cannot be on their own. I try to help a woman that's the father of her children is not safe, and he's in jail now, but when he gets out, he always tries to hurt her. It's like, no, he should stay locked up because he's legit trying to hurt her, and it's really scary. And like, he hurt a cop last time, and like, so there are people that need to be
Right.
kept away from society because they are not safe. Is it easy for you? Are you able to tell which one's which? I'm sure sometimes it's hard.
Not always. I would like to say that I'm really good at it because I've been doing it for so long, but the truth is I'm not.
Because I mean, some people are really good at lying and being convincing that they're going to change.
There are times where I can read a probable cause affidavit and be like, okay, this is scary. But then nothing happens. And most of the time, that particular circumstance of reading a probable cause and saying this is really scary is kind of few and far between for me. But that might also be because of the length of time that I've been doing this.
That's good. Well, yeah, once you see a certain case one time, you know more how to handle it the next time.
Right. But there are those instances. And unfortunately, I know that people take those to heart. I know that that's a big concern for a lot of judges that are like, well, if I release this person now, what happens if they go and they do something
and then
more horrific?
They feel responsible if they committed some sort of violent crime. Yeah, that would be a hard, you got to be mentally fit to be a judge.
Right.
Because you're not going to be 100% perfect. You're going to do the best you can. And so it seems like you're pretty good, because something I'm picking up on is you're humble. You're not up here bragging like you know everything. And I think that's always a danger when somebody acts like they're never wrong. You're like, well, every case is different. I'm really trying to read and learn and evaluate and meet the person and get to know them a little bit and help them. And will they take help? Will they have accountability? So I'm just impressed, Christina, by the things that you're telling me. If I were in Floyd County, I honestly couldn't wait to vote for you. So I do know a bunch of people in Floyd County, and I will be telling them. So you are going to run for judge in January next month. You're gonna file, and so the whole county can vote for you if they would like you to be the judge, one of the judges in the county.
Entire Floyd County can vote for me if they would like. And what's even more interesting is those who have had their who are felons can actually get their voting rights restored as soon as they are done with their sentence.
I like that about Indiana. In Kentucky, if it's a violent crime, you do not have the right to vote. So my good friend Richton Zero, who I do a show with, who has lived on violent life now, but when he was in 16 committed a violent act, he cannot vote in Kentucky. So I am glad to hear that in Indiana, once you get out of jail, you can vote, right?
But once you get
out of probation,
once you're done with your sentence.
Once you're done with your sentence. So is a sentence jail and probation sometimes, or jail and community service? Can you explain what that means?
So when you get sentenced on an offense, the sentence is literally the time and how the time is served. And so depending on what you're being sentenced for, let's say it's a theft that's been elevated because of a prior theft, which would be a level 6 felony. And you get sentenced to a year with maybe 6 months in jail and 6 months on probation. And that's kind of a harsh sentence for an elevated theft, but let's just say. So in that instance, you would do your 6 months incarcerated, and then you would do your 6 months on probation, and then after that is completed, you would be able to get your rights restored.
Okay, thanks for explaining that because I did not know. Why did
It's
you
complicated.
decide to run for judge?
So when I was in law school, this is going to kind of take us back a little bit. I did I did an internship for a judge in Porter County, and then I did an internship for a judge in LaPorte County, and that internship in LaPorte County ended up turning into a law clerk position. And I spent about 2 years doing that. And it was honestly, I loved that job. Like I love being a public defender. I love helping people as best I can in my community because, I mean, think globally but act locally, and that's, try to help the people in front of me. But I absolutely loved that job. I loved it because I came in every single day and it was something new. I
Oh,
loved
okay, yeah.
being able to see different people and see their different circumstances and learn. I loved to learn something new every single day. And a lot of it was civil. We didn't do a whole lot of criminal in that particular, or at least I don't remember doing a whole lot of criminal. All the projects I got assigned were mainly civil. And it was learning. I got to learn something new every single day. I remember I had to research riparian water rights one time, and the case law on that goes back to the 1800s.
Wow.
But it's not something you would normally get
So
to.
you like it when you all of a sudden get thrown something completely different that you know nothing about and you want to learn about it and you're like,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah, I love going down those rabbit holes and trying to figure out how these pieces work together and how this particular person's set of circumstances apply to the law that's already here. And if the law that's already here doesn't seem to satisfy the needs that they have, how can we creatively come up with something new? How can we work within the confines of the law, but to get a solution that works for all the parties involved?
That's amazing. I'm so excited for you. Okay, so do you know Dan Cannon?
I know the name.
Okay, so Dan Cannon is not a close friend of mine, but he's a friend of mine, and he's like a civil rights lawyer. He also is like a professor at U of L. He teaches students that are going to become lawyers.
He came in and did a CLE, I think, for us one time.
Yeah, and he wrote a book called Pleading Out. Yep. And I read that book only because I am friends with him, because I don't normally read really hard books like that. I'd rather listen to a podcast about it. But I read that book and I learned so much about America's criminal justice system through Dan Cannon's book. You guys can get it on Amazon or your local bookstore, Pleading Out. It's a great book. I recommend it. And in the book, he pretty much summarizes, he says that somewhere between 92% to 98% of all criminal cases are pled out, a plea bargain. They don't go to a judge. And he said this is bad for society because we need people to be on a trial by jury. We need them to get a better type of justice, that some people are kind of pushing them to serve a lot of time very easily because it's so much easier to sit down the person and say, listen, take this deal, because if you go to court, we're going to push more on you. And there's a lot of all these instances he gives them. It's really heartbreaking, of people that committed a small crime and they get a petty nonviolent crime and they get a lot of time in a plea bargain that they sign, where they probably could have got much less if they would have went to trial. I was wondering if you are witnessing that in where you are at, if you think there should be more trials, which I believe is more justice. Do you see this pleading thing as a problem?
So this is a tricky situation and tricky line to walk.
Okay.
Because our Constitution and our original formation was, you have a jury trial. Pleading was not an option. You go straight to trial. And I say that kind of, you don't actually go straight to trial, but your right is to trial, not to plead out. And the reason that there's a balancing with this is because of the accountability, right? Everyone is presumed innocent. And if someone is accused of something, then obviously they have a right to face their accuser. They have a right to be proven guilty.
Oh yeah. So if something happened to you, you want to sit in a trial and see is played out. Right. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
But
but
then there's also this level of accountability, right? And then you go into, did this offense happen? Yeah, it happened. like if I have a client that comes in and I'm like, hey, look, you are presumed innocent. There are these holes in their case. This is what they're going to bring to trial. This is how they're going to try to prove this essential element of count one. And then my client says, well, I did this. Can we just get a good deal? They take accountability and they say, I don't want to waste people's time. So I see both sides of this. Yes, we are entitled to jury trials. That's what was originally decided to do and be. But
I also see there's probably too many. Like, it's supposed to be a speedy trial. And if everybody was doing a trial, it might take years to fit it in. Is that
you
a
would
problem?
you would shut down court systems if everyone went to trial instead of pleading
So
out.
I understand why the police system was started. I do think that there are problems with it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think and like Dan had some suggestions at the end of the book, and I read it a few years ago, so I can't remember everything. But one of them was he encouraged people to, when they get those letters, that they've been selected to be a jury member, to take that, to do it, and to learn and to really be a part of the system. That helps, because a lot of people, we kind of have it in our culture that, oh no, I got jury duty, I'm gonna try to get out of it. What excuse can I make? So he encourages people to get involved in that process. But it does seem like if we were going to give everybody a trial, we would have to spend a lot more taxpayer dollars getting more judges, more public defenders, more buildings, really, to have the time to try. So, but I would also say maybe we shouldn't arrest people for really small things that aren't hurting people. I would think that should come into the conversation too. Like, I think there are, like, marijuana is illegal in Indiana, and it gets into that type of stuff where we're arresting people for crimes that aren't really hurting people.
Officers have a lot of discretion as to whether they're going to cite someone into court or whether they're going to arrest people. And I don't know if I've definitely seen some cases where they've cited people and I was like, okay, that was a good decision because this person has no criminal history. They weren't like being abrasive with you or whatnot. So I've seen them exercise that discretion in a good way. And I've also seen them exercise that discretion in a way that's like, well, maybe we could have thought differently about that. But I'm not them. I don't work in their jobs and they have very difficult jobs. So I understand that that's
No, you bring up a good point. Our system is only as good as the people running the system. So that's why, like, hearing you talk, I want you to have a good amount of power in our county, in our judicial system, honestly, because you are looking at each case, you're being empathetic, you're doing your best. Like, that's wonderful. But when I read Dan Cannon's book, there was a bunch of examples of people being discriminative. There was somebody that was just talking that says he's a black man, and he got 5 years for having 2 bags of cocaine, and a white guy could have gotten off or had much less of a sentence, is what he's saying. So it's like, we need to elect and have people in these positions that aren't racist or aren't sexist or aren't discriminative towards people on lower incomes. Like, that comes into play with what you're saying, I think.
And one of the good things about the judicial ethics and the canons is that we are to take everything by case basis. You cannot just look at a person and say, oh, because of your race, belief, or gender, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. You have to look at it a very individual case by case.
So you're not looking at somebody and just blindly judging them for their skin color, or if English is a second language or something. You're like, you see them as a human being, and who are they as an individual?
Right.
Yeah. Tim Peck talked about this, and I just think it was genius. So I always think Tim Peck, who's a co-founder of Project Next, he's an ER doctor. I always think Tim is just like the least judgmental person I've ever met. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, Sarah, my brain goes to the judgment thing. I just stop, realize it, and make sure I don't do it. Right. And I'm like, oh, that's so human of you to admit, because I just thought Tim was like had a superpower. No, he realizes, oh, we're kind of taught to not trust this black woman's pain level and think that she's not really in that. And I've got to realize that and make sure I'm not being culturally biased. So Are you saying you also are doing this too with you're like, wait, make sure I don't do that?
you really have to be able to compartmentalize, because we all have backgrounds. We all come in with our own experiences. Just like I tell any jury, you're going to come in with your own experiences, but you have to make sure that despite whatever things that you come in with, you're willing to give this person a fair shake.
Yeah.
And I want to come back to something you said earlier about,
Yeah, go for it.
you wanted me to have a lot of power in the community, and that's, I do not I do not want power. I am not someone who is like, yes,
But
I
a
need to
judge
be in
has
control of it.
power.
I just want to help people.
So these are the type of people we want to have power. What you said, that's who we want. We don't want people getting up and saying, only I can do this job. Everybody else would be terrible at it. And I should have more power because I'm so great. We want people like you that say, I don't want power. I just want to do the right thing and make my community better. Those are the type of people we want to elect. Like that is, it's really important to notice, because sometimes we think we want the strong man. We think we want that because we're scared and times are scary and we don't know who to trust. And so this person coming up and being like, only I can fix it. You're like, oh, great. I'll just vote for you and not worry about it. But really, those are the people that don't have empathy, think a lot of themselves. Maybe they're on the narcissistic type spectrum or, you know what I'm saying? So like, I think that what you're saying is a good tool for who do we want to elect. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking about, well, I would run for something, but I don't know enough, or I don't want power, or I don't want this.
Yeah.
You're the type of people we need. We need you to run for something, whether it be small, medium, or big, because we need people that as a whole want to make the community better, not use power to manipulate people.
And I had a big struggle with that when I thought about running, because I'm not someone who likes to be in the center or be the focus.
Yeah, I can get that about you. You're not like me. I love attention. You're not an attention. You don't love attention. I can tell.
Yeah, like I said, I just want to get in there and do the work. I don't, and I knew that I was going to have to kind of come out and be more of a face, if you will, in running, because that's part of getting the job.
Yeah, you got to get elected first, so you got to get out there.
Right.
But you just want to help people. You're not in it for, like, I see a lot of people that definitely have narcissistic tendencies running for office because you're putting your name on shirts, you're putting your name on signs, you're putting a website with your name on it, you're acting, you're telling everybody how great you are. I mean, I'm about ready to run my third election, and it's hard for me to like put a shirt on with my name on it. I'm like, oh, it's like, even though I like attention, I don't want to be like, look how great I am, you know? So I totally get that. And I just want to tell you, you are a great person. You're amazing. Go ahead and just embrace it for this campaign, and embrace your most social, interpersonal you. Push yourself a little bit, because we want to elect people like you. So we need to get to know you. So go ahead and share those stories that you have of the good you've already put into Indiana. Share them, get out, meet people, make sure people know we want you for judge.
And that's I mean, I've been making phone calls, I've been knocking on doors. Like I prefer more of that type of thing. I mean, I have my Facebook page, and I try to keep that up to date as best as possible.
I'll help you with that. I'll put this in little short clips and get you out there a little bit, girl.
My website is on its way. It's a work in progress. Unfortunately, there was a.
Is it going to be your name? What is the website going to be called? Do you know?
Just Knavely for Superior Court 3.
Knavely for Superior Court 3. All right.
.com.
Yeah. So you guys in Floyd County that are watching, or if you're in Southern Indiana, start getting the word out about Christie Knavely, that she's running. She's going to be on the ballot. I want to share a story with you. I don't think I've told people on Project Nexus. I want to share a story about Lisa Rieger. So Lisa Rieger ran for judge as a Republican in Clark County. And my side tried to let me know that she was bad. And I'm like, I taught her children, and I love her. And you want to know what she did for me? Because I have a story about Lisa Rieger.
Okay.
Lisa Rieger was a lawyer when I needed to get divorced, when my son was 2. And I was working part-time and super poor, and I could not afford a lawyer. She became my lawyer for pro bono. I only had to pay her assistant.
Wow.
And she helped me get out. And I will never not be so grateful for that. Um, so, so she's a judge now, and I'm really glad she's a judge.
Yes.
And I didn't get to vote in Clark County, but if I lived in Clark County, I would have voted for her. And and then there's another one. There's another one that's a judge now that I love and adore, and that's Maria Granger. And you also love her, is that right?
I do. I do.
So Maria Granger is a judge in Floyd County now, and she has been for a while. I taught her son
Oh,
a
wow.
long time ago, and she was the person that was she signed off on my divorce.
What a small world. Like,
I know, but I've met Maria a few times, and I want to go out to lunch with her. I'd like her to be a mentor of mine if I can pull her in. This
yeah.
strong woman that has been a judge for a long time,
Yes.
when it was even harder for women to have those positions of power than it is now. And she's so amazing, and she's not political. And I would say Lisa isn't either. And I would say you don't seem like it either, where you're super Democrat Republican agenda. You're community based, and
Right.
that's how I am too. So I just want to point out there are good judges out there, and they're helping our community. And I hope that you will get to be one of them too. But it's just, we're so taught that the judicial system is completely messed up. We're so taught in our culture it's completely broken. And I'm just here to say there are good people doing good work, even though there's problems in the system. There are people like you and Lisa and Maria and Dan Cannon and all these other great people that are out fighting for the community. And I wish we had more stories of that, because I think the community would feel more hopeful knowing the truth.
And I love Maria too. Like, one of the things that really strikes me about her is that she really wants to help people become members of their community again. I believe one of the papers called her a court that cares. And I absolutely love
Yes.
that, because I mean, courts are scary places, and she makes it so approachable that, like, in my opinion, at least, your guard gets taken down. You go in there knowing that this is a scary situation. You don't know what the judge is going to do. You don't know how the prosecutor is going to act. You don't know what your defense attorney is going to do. And you come in and she just has this calm presence.
I would say that's a really important thing to do, to let the person know, listen, I'm not just here to put you away for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
I'm here to try to give you the best situation in these circumstances. So I think that's really wise.
And again, sometimes it does require people to serve some time. Like, sometimes people do need that. Like you said, there are people that are dangerous, or people that are just need that time in there. And even with that, I think that she still treats everybody like a human being.
That's so important. We talk a lot about that on the show. We like to think, bad person, you hurt us, you hurt someone, lock them up and throw away the key. And you forget these are human beings, and they all have different reasons for why they made that mistake. And something that makes me upset about the criminal justice system is there are people that have a lot of money committing crimes every day, and they get away with it because they have so much money that they can use tons of lawyers to fight it off. And I wish that we realized that more when we're looking at a person whose life is a lot harder because they don't have that money, they don't have that safety net. I wish there was more empathy in that. And it just frustrates me, because I wish we would do a better job with the money crimes, with the crimes of the powerful. I wish we did better in our system with that.
Well, and if we want to talk about money, you're going to save a lot more taxpayer dollars if you help get people out of the system. Because there's a mental health court down in Florida, and I know it's been getting a lot of attention lately.
I don't know anything about this. I haven't heard anything.
So there's a court down in Miami-Dade County, Florida, and they have been running a mental health court for about 20 some odd years.
Okay.
They have gotten to a point where they have these facilities where when an officer gets into contact with someone who is experiencing a mental health crisis, they take them to like a crisis center. And they may have committed some sort of crime during the time there, but what happens is they immediately put them on like a pretrial diversion. So before charges even get filed, they agree to enter into this program, and it is a voluntary thing, where they get mental health services, they help them get housing, they help them get back on their feet, and these people end up basically working their cases off before the cases get charged. And what happens is they have ended up saving their taxpayers over, and I don't know the monetary amount on this, but I know it's in the millions. Because instead of housing them in prisons, instead of housing them in state hospitals, they're helping these people become members of the community. And so they've been able to save money, and they've been able to close jails.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, whenever we were having the like George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, social justice talk, I remember listening to podcasts on experts talking about this stuff, and it's complicated. I think the left went way too far to the left on it. But I think what the example you just said sounds like a great idea we should all be doing. A lot of people are having mental health problems, and that's why they're committing crimes. Could we help the mental health problem? And then they could get back in society and function and work and pay taxes instead of us paying for them to be jailed and miserable. And also there's the whole thing of sometimes these people are parents.
Yes.
And then we mess up their children.
Yes.
Because we put them, and then it's not like the court like does all these services. It's not like our government just like wraps these children up in a warm blanket and takes care of them while their parent is in jail. Sometimes it's family members that are struggling financially too, all of a sudden taking on 3 more kids, or grandparents, it's whatever. So that's a whole other topic as well. Oh, and I'm going to have sometime on my show, I'm going to have someone come on and talk about what's it like for women that are pregnant that go to jail and have a child while in jail. That's a whole nother thing.
I've actually met a person who did that, and I don't remember, and it's been so long ago since I've come into contact with this individual, but I remember that was a thing. Had her child in prison.
I mean, I know there was like stories where they're like, could they take the handcuffs off while she delivers her baby? Like stuff like that. It's like, these are human beings. We don't just, they commit a crime and we lock them away and we never have to worry about it again. This messes up a whole bunch of other things. So yeah, if you could get a mental health help
like
instead of just locking them away and helping them get back on their feet, that makes our community safer.
It does. And it saves a whole lot of money. And people like me don't think about the money because we think about getting the community.
I just want to help people, but the money is important too.
Yes, a lot of people do care about the money. And if you're going to affect change, you're going to get it through the pocketbook.
Yeah. So you're saying you show the data. Look at this mental health facility in Florida, and how it's saving the state money, and the county money, and you use that as a reason for why you would implement one in Floyd County or whatever. And,
right. Well, and the situation in Miami-Dade is very unique because everybody is on board. It's not just the judge. It's not just the defense attorney.
That's so neat, because in Florida we hear a lot of wild stuff about Florida, so it's nice to hear that about Florida.
But it's the prosecutor, it's the sheriff, it's the police officer, it's everybody, and everyone has gotten on the same page. And I think that one of the unique things that we have in this area is we have what's called JREC, and don't ask me what that acronym stands for because I don't remember. But everyone from those parties gets at the table and everybody sits down and has conversations. They don't necessarily always agree. I've been like maybe 3 of them, but they at least get together and talk.
Yeah, and how important that is. And if everybody, you don't have to agree on everything, but if everybody's mission is to support the community and make things better, it's easy to find compromises in those situations. If your big goal is similar, you can get there. Like I was so frustrated with the government shutdown. I really think nationally we should make it so we're not allowed to do that. And those people have to stay and work 12-hour days every day until they can compromise and come up with something, or we just use the last budget and keep it going until they can come up with a new one. Like, I don't think this should be allowed. And what you're saying is you're going to work with people. You're going to talk to people that, you might have different opinions on to come up with solutions that would help the community. And that's, again, who we want to elect, you all. We want to elect people on both sides that are like that.
And that's the other thing, is that there's always a solution that I haven't thought of.
So you're willing to listen and learn other people's solutions and maybe use those. Yeah, that's a humbling thing, and it's so important. We can't act like we know it all. I mean, think about the people that are just like, I'm the best at this, I'm the best at this, I know, and they don't take any new information ever. They just kind of get worse as they get older. I know those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not elect people like that. Let's elect people that are willing to.
My cat is currently like,
this is so cute. I like the giant
teething.
dog in the background.
Yeah.
I really want to come to your house and play with your pets. It's very hard to be far away right now. We're not that far away, but
Yeah.
So that's cute. You got some cute pets. You should bring them on the, bring them on the campaign. This will help. Have videos. Oh,
right.
Mayor Treva Hodges has her deputy mayor, her dog. Have you seen this?
No.
Have you? Oh my gosh. Yeah. If follow Mayor Treva Hodges, everybody, if you like pets, because she's got a dachshund, long wiener dog, a brown one, and she puts it in clothes. He likes to be in clothes. He comes to office with her. She makes like TikTok videos, and I'm like, oh, this is my favorite TikTok video of the whole day, is this dog walking around the little government office in Charlestown. We need that in our lives because we're trying to help save Indiana, and it gets dark sometimes. But yeah. So that's cute. Okay, as we're finishing up, we got just a couple more minutes. I want to invite everybody that is in this area, Floyd County area, Harrison County, Clark, that Project Next, I am hosting an open house on Wednesday, December 10th from 6 to 8. And if you are interested in attending, message me on any of these platforms and I will let you know more details. Food will be provided. And what I'm going to do, I'm kind of excited about it. I'm going to show behind the scenes how I work Project Next. How do I go live to multiple locations? How do I do the little short clips? How do I pump it out to people? And then because we've been doing this for a year, so I figured out some stuff. I'm still learning. And then I'm going to talk about our growth plans, because we've been doing it for a year and now we're ready to move and step it up and get even more viewers and subscribers and stuff. So if that sounds interesting to you, contact me. And then the other thing we're doing, Christina, is I am now taking sponsors. So if you have a nonprofit or cause or organization that aligns with Project Next mission of community building, and you would like to be on the show, you would like me to do little commercials about your cause, you can actually get a hold of me. And we have like packages. We have $100 one, a $300 one, and a $500 one. And I have to tell you, I got one yesterday. I got one that's like union based. I'm super excited. And then I got 2 more coming. So yesterday was like a big uplifting moment for me, because it's hard starting your own media company and keeping it going. And just seeing people when I reached out to them and being like, I am interested. It's like, ooh, that makes, so exciting stuff is coming for Project Next. We're going to grow and get even bigger, because how many people can we get shining a light on Indiana and on social justice issues? How many problems can we help get better? And I have seen it help. I've seen Project Next help, and I just can't wait to do more. So just letting you know about those things.
I did message you about that. I saw that.
I hope that you can come.
Well, yeah. and it all depends, because my husband works 3rd shift Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But it's Wednesday.
Is the 10th a Wednesday?
10th a Wednesday.
Okay.
See if that great husband of yours will babysit.
Well, we normally do family dinner night on Wednesday. That's one of the cornerstones that we wanted to make sure we had at least one.
Or you can honestly bring your husband and kids, and your husband can go down in the basement with them. That's also true. That was the question. Because we'll have food, so feel free to bring the whole family over. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I can get up to like 50 people there, so I'm pretty excited about it. And I'm just really thankful that you came on the show. I'd like to have you back as the campaign takes off, and we can talk more about specific issues. Have you heard about the show I'm doing with Rich, from prison to pastor?
No.
You would like this show.
I would like that show.
Rich is a Lutheran pastor.
Okay.
And he lives in Kentucky, but he's a pastor in Indiana. And Tim Peck met him and had him on the show. And then I convinced him to do a show with me. And when he was 16, he was basically abused when he was a kid and didn't know how to handle it. And it caused him to like want to be in a gang. And
Mhm.
he stole a car and shot two people at 16 in New
Yeah.
York, and very quickly was sentenced to a maximum security prison for adults. He was 17 then, and served over 14 years. And he came out when he was 30. And while he was there, he met a pastor and he became a Christian, and he dedicated his life to nonviolence, and he helped people in prison that were dying. He became part of hospice for
That's
prisoners,
wonderful.
and he would be with people even when they were like people that you would consider a monster, like done horrible things. They had the belief that nobody should die alone.
Yeah.
And so he worked in hospice when he got out of jail at 30. Now he's like in his late 40s, and now he's a pastor and he's real big on social justice causes. So I bet you would like him. He's pretty cool. And I do a show every 2 weeks. I'll do another show on Monday with him. He's going to start having like guests that do like really good work on the show too. So we're going to do that for the first time on Monday. But I just want to let you know that social justice and what you're doing is really important to Project Next and me and Tim, and making the community better. So I'm just really thankful. Is there anything you want to say before we leave? Sorry, I've been
Oh, you're
blabbing
good.
on.
No, well, first off, I really appreciate you having me here. It's been a joy to do this with you. And I mean, I think I want to leave with it's important for us to remember that we want to make sure that our families are the best that our families can be, but we are still a member of the people around us, and that our actions do contribute to their safety, their enjoyment of life, whether we want that to or not. I think oftentimes people get stuck in this work, kids, groceries, like chores. Oh, let me hang out with these people or whatever. We get stuck in these routines and we forget about the fact that we are still a part of the human race, and we are still a part of our neighborhoods, our communities. And I think if we all take a little bit of time and just have a little bit of awareness, then we can together come to make this place a good place for our future generations.
That was beautifully said. Very much agree with you on that. Yes. Thank you, Christina Knavely. And mark it down if you're in Floyd County to vote for her for judge, and let everybody know about her. Like, thank you for listening. And hopefully we'll have you back on again. I want to meet you in person. I met you one time, but I didn't know you. So
Right.
now it's nice. We've had this wonderful, beautiful conversation. I know you a lot better. So I hope to see you in the future. I'm sure I will, because I'll be campaigning as well. So
Right.
that'll be nice. Campaigning's hard, but also wonderful.
Yes.
And so anyway, just thank you. You're a beautiful person. I appreciate the hard work that you're doing to make literally the place I live better. So thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Okay. Well, thank you for all the work that you're doing too, Sarah. Like it takes everybody realizing that we are a part of this.
And it helps my mental health to meet people like you. That's something else that's important for people to realize. Getting involved with your community helps your mental health, because you see the division we're being pumped out online is really fake. Some people are choosing to believe it and act on it, but for the most part, it's fake. Most people are good. And when you get out and help certain issues, then you really see the beauty of human beings and the complexity that we are, and not just putting us in a group and disregarding us or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. I know you're busy. You're about ready to start a trial. You sound very cool and professional. And I'm like, I got another cool friend I'm just adding on. So good luck with all of that. And have a great Christmas.
All right. You too. Happy holidays.
Bye, everybody.